Ahora fuera del encordado, Conan aplica su ley, la ley de Conan.
Hay en esta vida muchas emociones.
No te resistas a la primera.
Press play. Where's the magic finger? Pressing down. Yeah.
The Wrestling Club with Darren and Brett. We've got a show that you'll never forget.
Fans, and welcome. Happens. No, put back on what you had on. I'm with my friend G.I. Jesse over here. What happened, Brett?
Oh, well, we're live. We just ended a 10-hour show.
Should I turn the song up? Should I turn the song up?
Yeah, crank it up. Let the neighbors hear.
That show is like the main event. A lot of attempted go to sleeps. when Paige was just like this, I literally just started to fall asleep.
Yeah, that's true. Not to say that it was a bad show.
When you better say your prayers when you mess with Mr. V. Truer words have never been spoken. Hi, Brett. AEW Double or Nothing. Hello. Sorry, I'm at my I'm in exile up here in the mountains of New Jersey. So apologies for how I look, how I sound, how I feel.
You sound
great.
Smell
me. Thanks.
You look as you do. The setting is very suburban. There's some doily curtains in the background.
Way in the suburbs. Nice. We're in the woods.
Yeah. Well,
it's nature outside.
This is our Double or Nothing post show. Coming up in just a little bit, we have a pre-recorded and much more well-produced interview with New Japan Strong's Royce Isaacs of Team Filthy. We sat down, we talked about DDT, we talked about Hood Slam, we talked about an encounter that we had early on in his career.
What did you do? Wow.
Well, you're going to have to stick around, but we wanted to be timely and have this post-show interview. For me, it's 10 p.m. For you, it is
12:53 a.m. I'm tired.
Yeah. You're tired. So we'll keep this brief, but there is so much to talk about. Oh, he's calling for it. He's calling for it.
I want to go to sleep. Oh.
New AEW champion.
Who?
CM Punk.
Oh, yeah. He won. He looked great. It was I don't know. It was a long show.
Yeah. It's
they woke me up a few times. There were multiple points where it felt long, and then it would just be like something happened. We're just gonna play music. Like first it was Rancid, and then it was
Rancid wakes you up every time.
Wild Thing, and then I was hoping at the end of Wild Thing, like Rancid would just come out and just like start jamming. Like maybe do like some space rock.
That's what they should have done. Oh, I mean, X is in Los Angeles, right? I don't know if all the members are still alive, but
I don't think they are. No.
But if you could sum up tonight's show in one word, what would it be?
Long.
Yeah, I mean, aside from long, what is your takeaway from the show?
Hold on, what's synonym for long? It was good. No, it was fun. It was good. It had a lot of moments. It had a weird. They were trying to balance a lot by having a show that long.
Darren's playing Jerry Lawler very sincerely singing in a recording studio on the TV.
Yeah.
And the camera is adjusted to only focus on that.
It's an upgrade. It was it was a long show. They knew they were going to go along with the basketball finals. So, it was a weird pace, but maybe it was the only pace that would have worked. They started hot, slowed down, got hot again, slowed down. It was a real roller coaster. It was a lot, but it was, they shouldn't have gone that long. We didn't need those two like straight singles matches in the middle of the show that didn't really matter. Like the Owen Hart consolation prize match, which was a good match. It would have been a great match on Dynamite.
Yeah, a lot of these deserve to be on the pay-per-view. Didn't need to be. Maybe would have been serviced better by being a focal point of an episode.
Why'd they want to go so late? What's Tony trying to do here? Is he been in Vegas? He got a little too much fun at karaoke last night.
Well, it is only 10 p.m. out on the West Coast.
Oh,
here,
big deal.
Big deal. I guess there's a mentality there. The crowd's not going to be so tired.
They were pretty tired.
They did get tired.
Yeah, the Serena Deeb match was
that Anarchy in the arena.
That was a great, just like the mixture of blood and mustard was like, this is everything I like about wrestling.
Let's go match by match.
Really?
Real quick.
All right, let's do it. All right, let's do them. All right, we should start a timer. We should do 30 seconds per match, and it'll still be like a 30-minute show. This felt like those WrestleManias where it would just be like Ron Garvin versus Tugboat.
Yeah, it did have like a WrestleMania 7 feel where it's like, they did get everybody on the show. I don't personally mind that as long as it's short and there's something to
start the show earlier. I know they were trying to fight some basketball game, but we ain't watching it's wrestling, not basketball. What do I care about basketball for?
Yeah.
Tim Horner, 1992, Tim Horner was named one of 8 entrants in the SMW Heavyweight Championship Tournament. A video profile of Horner was shown then, focusing on his wrestling career and personal life, including his singing ability. So check that out for the March 28th, 1992
episode. Talk about how long the show was, how you want to move through this episode quickly,
but this is great.
Reading what looks like Tim Horner truther videos.
This is what's gonna get the people tuning in. You know what I'm saying? This is what they tune in for.
We could give Tim Horner, what tag team was Tim Horner in?
Probably the Rock and Roll RPMs or something.
Yeah, so we could give him the proper treatment next week. But we need to talk about wrestling's hottest new tag team.
Oh God. Wow.
Hookhausen. Taking on Tony Nese and Smart Mark Sterling. I thought that was exactly what it needed to be.
I didn't watch it. I didn't watch the buy-in, so I saw Smart Mark. I liked his outfit. He looked like a great wrestling manager. He had like a complicated outfit on, and I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Next.
There's never been a storyline reason for why managers, when they wrestle, like need to be in a full body suit with like
an aeronautical. Yeah. Cool. I mean, that's fine. They'll do. That's fine.
Yeah. Then it's all weekend. Everybody's been talking about MJF. He no-showed the Fan Fest. Is it a work? Is it real? His music hit. He waited a long time. Everybody was on their feet.
Well, I wouldn't have known because I wouldn't have known because that fucking cursed Bleacher Report app cut out the first like 3 minutes of the show. So I opened up to Wardlow in his cage, which was just a room.
They need to maybe have Fight as an alternative or something. There's a way to split the costs and stuff. But
it's a crime. It's a shame. It's every pay-per-view is ruined for at least a few minutes. What'd you think, Brett? MJF squashed, written off. He was taken out on a gurney, given oxygen to the face.
I mean, if it were Vince McMahon, I'd be like, oh wow, what a burial. But I don't know. It's not Vince McMahon, so it's like maybe there's something to it. He's never ever looked weak, so like that's fine. I
don't know. I thought,
is this his first loss? No, CM Punk gave him his first loss, but still.
Yeah, but this was a burial. That was stupid. I didn't like it. I don't think I thought it was like yes, this is like the traditional wrestling climax to something. I get that, but I don't know. I thought MJF had a lot more to his heat, and I thought Wardlow was over. Wardlow didn't need to do it. He needed to do something, but to just end it like so abruptly in the first match, this could have been much better later in the show when it was like dead.
Yeah, I agree with you.
But they wanted
And
to start
I wouldn't
it
be
off.
shocked if it was slated later, and then I don't know.
I think the whole thing's a work, and I think it's just a bunch of bullshit.
I think it's a work too. It's
Because
no
MJF loves working Fan Fest. Dude, that guy loves working at Fan Fest. He's like fucking Larry Sweeney in a parking lot. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
So,
and you know, it's not crazy. Remember WrestleMania a few years ago? Remember SummerSlam just like last summer or whatever? There's always suddenly somebody's contract is up in the air and stuff. And you know, this happens in real life too, but it's super convenient when the wrestling news affects the pay-per-view. Okay, what do we got? Darren's got
Destroyer.
Looks like the Destroyer's Japanese 7-inch.
Yeah, what's the song?
Not Destroyer from the New Pornographers.
Brett, you have 3 guesses to what he's singing. Quickly.
Tarantel.
Nope.
Ave Maria.
Nope.
Surfing Safari.
Nope. It's Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, another song by the Beach Boys. Anyway, continue.
Yeah. Let's move on. We had the Hardys against the Young Bucks, the Dream Match, which we saw earlier, like a few years earlier. So I wasn't so excited about it.
It was very fun.
It was fun. I loved the Young Bucks Vegas entrance.
Yeah.
I like the Young
Brandon
Bucks.
Brandon Cutler is a gift. He really is.
He
always
once
does
they
something
realized,
dumb.
yeah, just leaning into his whole vibe.
Very good. Hardys look great. It was a fun match.
Yeah. Jade Cargill and Anna Jay.
God.
Anna Jay. My biggest complaint about Anna Jay when she first debuted was that she looks like a cigarette girl. And then she joined the Dark Order and then didn't have that problem up until tonight. And I'm praying it's
like cigarette girl, like an antiquated term that's like very offensive to some women. A cigarette girl.
I don't think so. I think a cigarette girl is a girl that would walk around a bar or party or restaurant in a sort of sexy outfit with a box of cigarettes.
Oh, I see.
Yeah. I mean, sexist in its historical context, but I don't think it's necessarily offensive to say that she was dressed. She had tails. She had stars on her gear. She was the old Anna Jay. Taking on the coolest wrestler, had a bunch of showgirls, had the baddie section, love Stare It Out, Red Velvet, Kiera Hogan. I like that trio a lot. Seems like they're having fun. Would love to see Sunny Kiss in it, but this was what it was. Could have been a squash. There wasn't really much build to it.
Should have been a squash. The match wasn't really much, but we had Athena come out showing some real sass at the end.
Yeah.
Which was cool. I'm like, this is more personality I've seen out of her than like her whole WWE run when she was just like a werewolf.
Yeah. I'm very curious to see her run here because I haven't liked any of her runs in WWE, whether she was like cyber wolf or regular wolf.
No, it wasn't great. The whole drop the wolf thing, but she came out with attitude tonight. She felt like she had something to prove. She got her pop.
Great wrestler.
Yeah,
can't wait to see her get in there. And
watching like Jade Cargill, right, superstar. She's got poise. She's got presence. She's like sort of better than the Ultimate Warrior as a wrestler. Like she's not a great. So I feel like her work. Not much. She's not even as good as Goldberg when he was green. Like her matches are not great. They're not. But I think that's because they put her like she should be in the ring. Like I feel like Athena is a great opponent for her. Like I feel like that's a great direction. They got to put her with veterans to get her to where she needs to be because she should be, she's great. She's just it gets a little tough in there. They dropped each other on their head. She like hit her so hard in the face with a double axe handle that like it's like, yo, chill.
Yeah. At some point, whether it was on the buy-in,
I just want to say Vince McMahon, Bret Hart on the screen, and just the caption is "Life's not fair." Just sitting in someone's
with
car.
Shadows.
This is wrestling. Yeah, it's like a sequel.
Okay.
Well, this is the Calgary. This is the Calgary comedy scene.
What are they singing?
Jeremy
spoken. Again, Darren's got shit on the background that's more interesting than this recap at times.
Why?
Yeah, at some point, Smart Mark Sterling got fired. I don't know if this happened during a bathroom break or something, but in his place now is Stokely Hathaway. Great.
Yeah, great.
Baddie section was already really good. Smart Mark Sterling did not work in that setting.
Why?
And they kind of leaned into it for a little bit, but Stokely Hathaway, those three women who are so cool and so poised, adding Stokely, who's legitimately maybe the funniest person in wrestling. This is going to be great.
Yeah, excited for that. Yeah, I like where it ended up, but yeah, he's cool.
But, yeah,
and she's really cool, and love her hair looked great.
Yeah, they've been doing like a red, green, blue thing. This group, but yeah.
Wow, you took these pictures yourself.
I did take these. I thought these would come out a little nicer in the StreamYard side. Up next, we had the House of Black and Death Triangle. Sad to say, rest in peace, Nosferhantes.
You know
Alex
what?
Is back.
Hold on. Can I have a question?
Sure.
I haven't been watching wrestling every week as much as I had been. So what was the explanation for him turning back? Was there like did he find like an orb? Was there someone that put it like what's the explanation?
I think Rey Fenix and Pac returned, and there were enough normal people around that he didn't need to be a ghoul anymore. Why he was wearing a Geordie LaForge visor with like scrolling text, we don't know. He was dressed like a teenager from Mexico City again.
I'm really upset about him. I really want the House of Black to like do to him what they did to Julia Hart.
Oh God. Yeah.
They need to eat him. No, he needs to be their like Midian. Like they need to sacrifice him.
And then my favorite luchador in the world right now. I loved him at Triple Mania. Pentagon the Third.
Little debut. Yeah, what was he doing there? He was just like in and out.
He was hanging out, but
does he do spots in AAA? Does he do spots in AAA?
I guess they all live there. It's always just after Pentagon has the bloodiest match, and he already looks frightening, and then he goes over and hugs his kids.
And his kids are like, "Daddy!"
Yeah.
I'm so happy. They're not upset.
This child,
is covered in blood.
Well, the perspective from the camera looked like he was about 3 feet away from a geyser of fire. So much so that like Rey Fenix like tugged him a little away. But this little child.
You think Alex is pissed that he's on kid duty?
Oh yeah.
That he can't do his faces.
Do you think that -1 is like, who is this guy?
Dude, -1's gonna beat his ass.
I think we have a new contender for Littlest Prince of the Ring 2022.
Look, those two need to have a mask versus mask match. Like all the fanfare too. Like do it in Arena Mexico.
It's like bloody.
Yeah. Pull this -1 pulls the spike out, just go right for the eye.
House of Black looked spookier than usual. Wish they had a little more going on than just this holding pattern, but hopefully
but once it's a wrestling match, like this was besides the Anarchy and the arena match, this was the match of the night for me. It was so great.
It was really good.
It was so good. All of them work so well together. Brody King is like a god. He's so good. Buddy Matthews, he's a little weirder this week, you know?
Yeah. He's less of just like a normal guy with the weird men.
He still has 16 abs, which is kind of disconcerting. He's tan, which doesn't work. Like there was one sign that said, "Make Buddy get tattoos." I was like, that's right. That's about right. Yeah. Like, come on, guys. Use your satanic magic.
Well, they've got a new member in Julia Hart, who had the slowest heel turn imaginable.
Her heel turn was great.
I mean, I watch Dark every week, and they've been doing it subtly, slowly having like a growth under her eye patch and everything. But it's just like been this very long holding pattern. Right. I don't know. It reminds me of like nice Luna Vachon when they shaved her head. I like this. It'll really be a test of Julia Hart's performance abilities. You know, she could either be something legitimately creepy or complimentary to this act, or she could be, you know, Alexa Bliss in the overalls.
I'm into it. I think like we need more of the factions in AEW to mix genders.
I agree.
You know, so I'm into it, and I think she'll be a cool addition. I like House of Black. They're not like they're better than like the TNA version of what they're doing, but they're still not as good as the WWE version of this when WWE does it at its best.
I guess I see what you're saying.
WWE has done it worse. Like they have done it so poorly before, and I know what you're referencing, and you're right about that. But there are things about the production that are like it needs. I think it needs more. I think it needs more. Like Buddy Matthews needs to get some tattoos. He needs to get that. He needs to like update his look to match them because his wrestling ability is fantastic. He's so good with them.
Yeah, I mean, keep this like weird white paint. Here's Death Triangle and Pentagon the Third and Jordy LaForge.
Oh my God.
Alex.
That white dude, when he just pulls out that white belt from his luggage, he's like, yeah. he's dressed like Mr. Jokes with the wizard. He just needs to have like wires coming off his jacket.
Yeah. Oh, you know, in a video package leading up to this match, William Regal was like, you know, I used to be a sports entertainer. And we are seeing the footage of that very match. Yeah. When he was when Goldust and Regal switched bodies. Up next, we had Adam Cole, Samoa Joe, Owen Hart Foundation Tournament final. Yeah, it was good.
I love Owen, like Martha Hart as like she's like her audition as like the Dana Warrior of AEW was really, I mean, it was great. I liked Martha, her weird Canadian energy. So basically, Adam Cole won and Britt won, and everybody knew that they were going to win because they both came out in pink. And then I was like, well, if Joe comes out with like pink on his trunks, then like maybe he'll win. But he came out with that Monster Energy green. So like I knew that, and it made sense for them to win. Like that was the right move.
Yeah.
But The match, I thought Adam Cole and Joe was like a fine match. Again, it was like one match too many. I didn't really need it on this show. Ruby Soho, who I guess, what's the deal with her? Like everybody's booing her now, but like she came out, like Rancid played her out in like a great entrance. Like,
yeah, I don't know.
Right,
that was great.
Rancid sounded great. I can't believe that's what they look like now.
Well,
I saw them at Warped
Triple
Tour
H,
2001.
It's Jake the Snake Roberts.
It's like Triple H and Tommaso Ciampa's drug dealer.
Yeah, and unmasked El Connect or something.
Yeah. But they sounded awesome. It sounded
Wrestling
so
Club
good.
member Rob Pesbani and our friend Jay Miller from New York Public Access. Both immortalized in the annals of time.
That was a great, I really
great
liked
entrance. That picked the crowd up so much. It's like
totally.
I changed my mind. I was like, I actually think that Ruby should win.
Nah, I still had to be Britt.
Yeah,
had to be Britt and Adam. It made sense for it to be them because, like, I don't know, it just did. I think Britt Baker needed it. Ruby Soho is it was good. Like her entrance was great, but it was still clear that she's turning heel, at least to me. But the entrance kind of like pulled her back from that heel turn a little bit because it brought the crowd up so much. It was the perfect time in the show for it. But let's not forget that what's his fuck from Fozzy also played out Britt Baker, which was he got how pissed he must have been.
Even on commentary, they were like, "Wow, that blew the last entrance out of the water."
Which honestly, like I thought he did for like wrestling guitar player entrances. I thought he did great. He sounded like a real guitar player. He wasn't no Rick Boogs phony. But
I mean, this is like his third time or fourth time.
But he's so old. Playing somebody else to the ring. Like, did Fozzy just play all the AEW themes and we don't know it?
Well, there's that one woman that like plays with Alice Cooper or something that like with Nakamura. I'm just like I'm tired. I like a special entrance, but I'm tired of like the crowd shot and then hearing like but
at least he's a good guitar player, and they like cut him out so you couldn't hear him actually playing on her song. So whatever. I'm saying for wrestling guitar entrances, it was acceptable. Rancid was exceptional. The match was good. The presentation with Martha Hart and her folksy Calgary charm and her hat. And we gotta
talk about this hat.
The hat was fantastic.
That is, it's like that is Calgary.
No, wait, that's Calgary. Oh, wait a second. Oh no, that's the wrong heart. The belts were.
And then she addressed the hat, which I think was important.
Yeah, the belts, the two belts are great. They're both based on the Stampede Wrestling Championships, so I think that's awesome. Yeah, I liked it. Would have liked it more on Dynamite. So this show is a little bit not quite as.
Here's the thing: Dynamite rushes everything.
That's true.
This show came to a stop, and rightfully so. It suddenly became the Hall of Fame, and that was great because it was the most deserved moment of like anybody in wrestling to get a chance to just be embraced by wrestling again.
I mean, I know. I think you're talking about Martha right now, but like, I'm just happy that Owen got that moment. Yeah, because like Owen's the best. I mean, he's my favorite wrestler of the '90s. So it was like really great, and I'm happy it wasn't on Dynamite for that same reason. No, you're totally right. There were other matches on this show that could have been on Dynamite and made this stick out a little more.
Yeah, and for Jim Ross, who was feet away from Owen Hart when he died.
That's right.
To like be able to sit there and see this happening for all like Mark Henry, who loved Owen, all these people. I think it's just like the rare, truly genuine, like heartwarming thing.
It was this was the right move for Tony. You can tell everybody was so happy that Martha was there. Tony Khan had walked her out, and Britt was really sweet to her. It was a nice moment.
Well, you know it wasn't nice. American Top Team versus Kazarian, Guevara, and Conti.
Can I just say I'm at my my sweet mother's house right now, and I bought the pay-per-view and watched it here. And my mother walked out when Sammy Guevara was like tongue deep in Tay Conti. Why are they dressed like that?
That's Maleficent.
They suck. Like why can't he like?
I'm enjoying it. I thought as a babyface, I never ever liked him, and now it's leading into that.
Yeah,
it gives Ty a bit of personality. I mean, they're dressed like Maleficent, both of them.
But this was an example of a match that did not need to be on this show. Like this should have been on like an Impact pay-per-view.
Yeah, we had the debut of Paige Van Zant, which maybe on Dynamite could have been a little bit more important. I don't really follow MMA.
I've always been. I don't care
about her.
Yeah, I like. I've always been a Dan Lambert fan. He makes me laugh. But boy, does he just like. I don't know. He just like aligns himself with a bunch of nothing. So it's hard for me to care. And then when it's like literally Frankie Kazarian, when it's Suicide and then like those two. I mean, Sammy and Tay have something, don't get me wrong, but like not why like this feud's stupid. Like, why is it still going on?
Yeah, it's a little strange that there is this like simple built-in feud between Kazarian and Scorpio Sky, which like would be a great 3-week Rampage blow-off sort of thing to do, especially in Los Angeles. But it's weird that they like did it with this. We had like Kazarian hanging out with these weirdos on his free time. It just didn't it didn't make sense. I feel bad for him. He kind of came in as like one of the OGs, and then he's just not that interesting or great. But
yep.
I will say,
not interesting or great.
It was the return. We got to hear it twice of my favorite wrestling theme, which we haven't got to hear it because Scorpio's been doing solo stuff, but
go retreat, hold sky. Gotta go, my ego is about to run wild. Top tier with Premier, we make your career. The man of the year, the man of the year. Come on, retreat, hold sky.
I like that theme. I think it's a good heel theme.
Cool. Whatever you like.
Yeah. Up next, we have Kyle O'Reilly and Darby Allin. God bless him. I couldn't get into this match. I was too tired.
I loved the match. I thought this is again a great match that would have been fantastic on Dynamite.
And this was a last-minute ad with no build.
Right, but it was still like, I mean, Darby and O'Reilly have great chemistry, and it was like a well-wrestled match. But yeah, this should be. It just there was no story to it. It was a cold match, and for a cold match,
the opener. Be the opener then.
Not even. Don't even be on the show.
Yeah, whatever. But, if you need to get them on, then.
But as like the match, like it's told a good story. It was like Kyle is like the technical wrestler versus like the unorthodox wrestler, and I love that knee drop finish. I think like I love a knee drop from the top because I love wrestling from the 1970s, and that's like the 1970s high spot. So that was cool.
Well, what about that coffin drop to the ropes?
Oh my God. I mean, Darby's insane. I don't want to complain about a Darby Allin match on pay-per-view. There were other matches on this show that I thought didn't need to be there, but this definitely didn't need to be here either. But good match. Maybe they'll do something in the future and it'll mean something.
Serena Deeb and Thunder Rosa. I like Thunder Rosa a lot. I think Serena Deeb's a very good wrestler. I don't think this was the match to have then and now.
Nah, she's Thunder Rosa is not a world champion. She can't carry the division. Britt Baker can wrestle in that slot. Thunder Rosa can't. Serena Deeb, I think, would even be stronger than Thunder Rosa. And I like Thunder Rosa. I think she's got a lot of personality and she's a good wrestler. Serena's like Zack Sabre Jr. Like she like watches those tapes. Like she does such cool moves. They had a great lockup sequence, which I thought was really cool. Serena's old school and she's good. I would have switched the title. I don't care. Because I don't think Thunder's any better than. I think they're like even. I don't think it even matters. I don't think either one of them should be champion. Britt should still be champion.
Yeah. What is on the TV now?
I don't know. Hold on. Let me check. El Monstero. I have no idea.
This I think was when we were talking about the great Frankensteins of wrestling on our Brawl
maybe that
special.
could be. That could
I think
be
that's El Monstro. I was like, I have seen this weird video. Yeah. Check that out. Brawloween in the archives. We go through all our favorite Frankensteins. Yeah, agree. Was really fading at this point, and then
they woke us up.
Holy shit. This Anarchy in the Arena match was exceeded all of my expectations. It had the energy of the Stadium Stampede, but minus like the cute stuff, the horses and the magic and the.
This was like a Cactus Jack WCW pay-per-view tag team brawl where they were just all over the arena. They destroyed the ring. Everybody bled. They did the tribute to the Two Below concession brawl. They did. Oh God! It's just like there were so many things in this match. Eddie Kingston coming out with the gas can. Just like
the mustard actually enhances it, making him look like more of a monster.
Yeah, it's amazing. Like
this is maybe my favorite wrestling visual of the year. And I don't know if you miss the buy-in, you miss one of the great Eddie Kingston promos. Him drunk.
He's drinking rambling. Again. Eddie's drinking again.
He's got a bottle of Jack Daniels, and he's it depends on what your taste of Eddie Kingston is, but if you like him, this is great Eddie Kingston.
I am so excited for the Eddie Kingston Bryan Danielson feud. That's like going to be my feud of the year. There was a spot. So the spot we're talking about is Eddie Kingston. Eddie Kingston gets locked in a freight elevator at some point. He's brawling all over the arena. He's getting in the mustard. He's throwing people into the t-shirts. He's totally out of control. And somehow he ends up in a freight elevator with one of the 2.0 guys, I think. Right. And then he's gone from the match. And then, all this chaos is happening. People are going through tables. The ring's getting torn apart. And then it's just at one point, Eddie walks out and he's got a gas can and he's got this look on his face like a serial killer. And he's got a gas can and he immediately just walks in and drenches Chris Jericho with it. Gotta say, Chris Jericho's wet head, it reveals his like baldness and it's really funny. He's got a funny looking head. But so Eddie Kingston douses him with the gasoline. He's about to just light him on fire. It's not even part of wrestling. Like you can't win a match. You can't pin a man who's in flames. And Daniel Bryan just like takes him out. Like Daniel Bryan takes out Eddie Kingston and they start brawling because like they hate each other. Like they're on such like opposite sides of what wrestling is supposed to be. So this match was awesome. You got to think that I think it was people on Twitter were saying this is going to be like what's their War Games match called? I forget.
Blood and Guts.
That this is going to be a blood and guts match which would be fucking awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm so pumped.
It's just, it's like eggs on my face to like have lowered expectations from this crop of people. Also, the boy band look of the Jericho Appreciation Society, everybody wearing the Kangol caps, which apparently Daniel Garcia The story behind that is that he used to imitate Triple H. He'd throw on like there was an old Shawn Michaels outfit at his wrestling school, and he'd throw on like the train conductor cap.
Yeah,
put it
yeah.
on backwards.
Sure. The classic
do,
DX
like,
look.
He'd do like the Triple H tough enough speech to people. It's very funny.
I love Jericho Appreciation Society. I think they're all doing great. I think it's a great use of Jericho going with the new guys and switching it up. I mean, he's the best at that. And they won. Jericho won. Jericho's team won. So, yeah, blood and guts. That would be a phenomenal match.
Yeah. And then we had the Jurassic Express, Keith Lee and Swerve Strickland and Team Taz. Why was this match here? If only to cool down the crowd.
Yeah, I
thought on paper this could have been like the undercard match that stole the show, maybe, but
sure. It was a good match. It was a good match.
Did it need to go 20 minutes?
Did it go 20 minutes?
But at least 15 minutes.
They teased Daddy Christian turning on his boy, Jungle Boy. He's doing some dirty stuff that Jungle Boy don't seem to like. There's a Luchasaurus kicked, or did Luchasaurus kick Jungle Boy? They hit each other.
Yeah,
there was some dissension in the team, but they retained the title. So in the end, like the storyline was right. You know, I'd like to see Keith Lee and Swerve with the titles, or Starks and Hobbs. I mean, I love Powerhouse Hobbs. He's one of my favorites. But they're telling that story that just keeps going on and on. And are you excited for Jungle Boy versus Christian? Brett has this 2-year storyline just got you just so revved up for Christian Cage versus Jungle Jack Perry.
You know, love Jungle Boy Jack Perry. Christian is good in the right context. Yeah, maybe it'll be fine, but I'm not. You know, it's not that it's bad. It's just that there's so much other good stuff to focus on.
Christian and Frankie Kazarian are the same wrestler. And you know what I mean? They're just like guys that are like on paper good, but like,
yeah.
Why are we watching them on paper on wrestling 12 years after? Like they're like TNA has-beens, which is the worst thing to be as a wrestler.
Well, Christian hasn't been doing much. Just
as everybody can see me. Oh no. What happened there?
You mentioned Daddy too. I'm sad to have skipped the Acclaimed and Gun Club. Have you been seeing their promos? It's been on Rampage a lot.
They got drunk in Vegas. That was dumb.
I thought it was. I like it.
It's fine. JR was very upset by it.
Yeah. Well, he would be. But
that's right.
The Gun Club. I've always been saying the Gun Club should be like much more Daddy's Boys, and now they literally say Daddy and Papa, and they do the scissoring thing. And Billy Gunn loves them all, but loves the Acclaim more. It's just like the perfect something to give undercard wrestlers that don't really matter.
Yeah, you're right.
Then we had the main event, CM Punk versus Hangman Adam Page for the World Championship.
Punk kept going for that lariat and eating and just wiping out.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of botches on this show. Did you notice that? A lot of people dropping people and messing up moves. It felt like more than usual. I don't know what that is. I don't know what that means.
Mm-hmm.
It was a good match. Punk should have won. There's no doubt. Like
Punk did win, in case you.
Yeah, Punk won the title. He finally won.
I was like, I guess we're never getting it.
Oh, you know what we skipped over? You know what we skipped over? We skipped over the debut of Roosh.
Oh, that's right. Great look.
Yeah, oh my God. Los Ingobernables coming to AEW, I guess, because Naito will be there in a month. So
Yeah. I mean, it's a
that's
shame that
awesome.
I hope that promo meant he's like dropping the rest of the Hardy family office.
Yeah, to get rid of all those bozos.
Yeah, because that doesn't
No.
make Andrade look good that he's getting Matt Hardy's like
No.
leftovers.
And don't put Jay Lethal in there for Christ's sake.
Yeah.
Like it's fine. Like I'll allow Ric Flair. I'll allow Ric Flair. Nobody else will, but I'll allow Ric Flair to be in Los Ingobernables.
Yeah. I was I guess there was like too much to do, but I was wondering if they were going to do a big angle. Maybe it'll happen this week. This week.
What's the match? What's the match, Brett? What's the match? Is it going to be Okada versus Punk? I don't think so.
I think Kenta versus Punk is the one everybody wants to see.
See, that's the one that nerds like us want to see. But like, what's the big match? To me, the big match is Bryan and Okada. Unless Omega's healthy, then it's Omega and Okada. So Punk can defend against Kenta. He could defend against Suzuki. He could defend against. I don't think he will defend against Tanahashi. I think Tanahashi and Moxley is their match because they talk about each other all the time.
Yeah, I think the people that you maybe casually see on Dynamite are not going to be the focus stars. I think Suzuki makes an appearance, but I don't think he's going to be in a major match.
Maybe.
I'm curious if they have Takeshita or like if they use any of the Stardom people or the Tokyo Joshi people. Like it is the Forbidden Door, so you know.
It should be. I could see Stardom because they're owned by the same company.
Yeah.
Takeshita.
We've only really seen. We haven't seen any Stardom people in AEW. I don't think. Maybe Kyrie.
Yeah. Julia
Hart. Oh. Julia versus Julia.
Sure. Yeah, I just wonder who Punk's gonna wrestle. I wonder Kenta makes sense. And then what's the rest of the card? Like, you know, are they gonna where's Zack Sabre Jr.? Are they gonna do him and Bryan? Like that's obviously a dream match, but I think Okada and Bryan is the real top match. That to me is the top match, but you know, Punk's the champion, so maybe it's Punk and Okada, but then you're gonna have champion versus champion. Who wins that match? How do you do the finish?
Yeah.
Does Okada win the
They better treat it like a real pay-per-view and not like those ROH Global Wars things where it's gonna be like bad tag team matches and stuff. Like
could be. I could see yeah, it could be that. I hope it's not that. I could see Punk and Okada. Have Okada win and have him defend against Kenny. Have him defend against Kenny. Both belts.
Yeah, Kota Ibushi won't be there.
No, he's in trouble.
Yeah.
He's got
Great-O-Khan. Did you see Great-O-Khan's Wild Week?
No, what did he do?
Great-O-Khan appeared on Dynamite alongside Jeff Cobb. United Empire did a run-in. And then after the show, he went out on the town. And he went to that place in Vegas where like you like it's Heart Attack Burger or something.
Oh, great.
Then he went to like Coyote Ugly or something and was riding a mechanical bull penis.
Great.
And just like posing with like consenting women in like bikinis on the street with like handfuls of ass.
I feel like Great-O-Khan has changed a lot since the last time I saw him.
Yeah. Yeah. He doesn't wear that flag anymore. Maybe I'll like Great-O-Khan. Who knows?
Yeah,
excursions do that to people.
So. It's true. It just makes them do drugs. Drink too much. Great. Well, Double or Nothing, huh?
Yeah.
What a show. It was a long one. I'm tired. We should probably go to the interview, huh? Set up the interview, Brett.
Well, I think the interview might come out as a separate episode since we talked way longer than I thought we would. But for the viewers now, I'll just play it for you. But we'll jump to that in a minute, and the podcast will have it chopped up into 2 episodes. But Darren, you want to plug anything?
Well, next week is my last WFMU music show for the summer. I'm taking the summer off. My wild life is taking me all over the world. Going on a global tour this summer. We're talking Thailand, Turkey, Ireland, Vegas, Jersey Shore, and everywhere in between. So, stay tuned for that. But I'll be
LA.
Not going to LA. No. I mean, actually, I am going to LA, but not your neighborhood, so you can't leave the neighborhood.
Not my neighborhood.
Yeah, I'm not going where you are. But next Saturday will be my last show for the summer at Saturday at midnight. So it's been a good run, but I'll hopefully come back in the fall. I'll be around doing fill-ins and stuff too. But next Saturday at midnight, the end of an era.
Yeah, are you doing anything special for the big send-off show?
Nah, I'm probably just gonna play songs I like, as opposed to the rest of the weeks where I play songs I have never heard before.
I'll say we just did our inaugural comedy show at the DIY venue Little Secret in Hollywood. We had Kate Bamford, Megan Kuster, Lizzie Cooperman, Cameron Farmer, Rachel Callie. It was a great show. We had a stripper. We had a stripper.
Wow.
A representative from Stripper Strike North Hollywood. Support that cause. She did her performance, which was why we had Eunice Hernandez, who's running for city council. So if you're in LA, vote for her. And then next month, we're doing another one of these, and we're going to have a dance party. We're going to have comedy. Jamie
More strippers?
Loftus.
More strippers?
Maybe. It was a hit. I don't know.
People like strip teasers.
Yeah, it was.
Speaking of strip teasers, no, this is just the video I put on was actually, maybe we should skip that. Maybe we should hold off the interview from last week and we should just play this. It's Ultimate Warrior Yukon speech, April 5th, 2005. Why?
Next month we're gonna have Jamie Loftus, the Shrimp Boys, Cat Toledo, Katie McVeigh, speakers, DJ, the whole 9 yards. You can get tickets now.
Unless somebody gets canceled.
Maybe. We'll see.
Brett, did you perform on this show last night?
Did perform.
The other night?
Yeah.
Oh, who did it? Or you were there? Usually I know these comedy shows you have trouble making it on time, and sometimes you have to
I did have to dip out for a while in the middle.
Oh boy, who took your place?
Your favorite 90s comedian Petey Ziti.
Oh, Petey Ziti was there.
Petey Ziti was there, yeah.
Did he bring the Ziti?
He brought the Ziti. Everybody had a nice big plate. I think he's had a few rough years with the COVID and stuff. The ivermectin made him very tired, and he was just saying all sorts of stuff that Petey Ziti wouldn't have said. So I'd like to apologize for anybody that came to the show and was offended.
I'm sorry. I'm watching the Ultimate Warriors Yukon speech, and the PowerPoint just came on, and it's oh boy.
He showed a highlight reel.
He showed a highlight reel before he went out and started talking about his beliefs. Oh, if he could have lived. If only he could have lived. Brett.
If he lived, we'd have so many episodes of fun. It's just a bummer otherwise.
Yeah.
But yeah. Oh, and then I'll be you can check my website. I'm doing shows at Heavy Manners Library and the Pack Theater as well.
Wow, you got a full summer of fun coming your way, Brett.
It's a jump in June.
A jump in June's me. That we'll see. We'll see if I can get through summer school. Well,
for the purposes of the podcast, you want to sign off, and then we'll jump into our Royce Isaacs interview for the purposes of people watching that maybe want to see it.
What? You want me to sign off?
Yeah.
All right. All right. Thanks for hanging out with us. Thanks to Brett. Shout outs to the fine folks at WFMU Radio and everybody who tuned in to the chat. If you dig Wrestling Club, you can like, share, subscribe. Give us a 5-star rating on the Melcher scale. Invite your friends. Check out the archive and spread the word. Wrestling Club will return next week with a whole new show, so please check that out. But until then, for Brett, I'm Darren. This has been Wrestling Club. Thanks again, and we'll see you next week. Bye-bye. Or stay tuned for this.
Our guest from the Mile High City, now residing in Los Angeles. 0.5%, the West Coast Wrecking Crew, a member of Team Filthy, the Mile High Samurai, former NWA Tag Team Champion, former DDT Heavy Metalweight Champion. Definitely want to talk about this. Royce Isaacs, welcome. You're the newest member of the Wrestling Club.
Hey, well, thank you for welcoming me into the club. I don't belong to a lot of clubs, so it's nice to get some membership here.
I mean, I just mentioned you're like part of multiple clubs. That was part of the intro.
Oh, right. Yeah. Sorry. I get brain damage sports. So,
this is
short
true.
memory.
This is true. Well,
that's only like 3 or 4 clubs. How many clubs are you in?
Well, there's Wrestling Club.
Yep.
And yeah, I guess some of your clubs are clubs within clubs.
Yeah. It's like subsets and all this other stuff, and yeah.
Well, we're gonna get into it. On this show, we really encourage you to shoot hard. So I can put that in all caps in the title. Maybe get some Simon Gotch action going here.
Yeah.
You have such an incredible career. I definitely want to talk about a lot of these things, but also we're gonna watch some clips in a little bit. We've both brought some of our favorite clips. But for this, I wanted to do a new segment. I'm gonna try beta testing a new segment on you.
Let's go.
It's called This Is Your Cage Match. Referring to I'll add in some music, baby.
Yeah, there we go. And if you're listening to audio, I was looking very soft.
You really saw. I'm talking to a wrestler here. I'm also referring to my cat as if he's my sidekick. Cage Match, of course, referring to the German website that psychotically categorizes every wrestling event that's ever happened.
Actually, it's better now, but there's a lot of stuff that's missing. Like, if it's like, for whatever reason, if it's not on its radar, not necessarily even some of my, like, what you consider smaller regional stuff, but, like, I think, like, Championship Wrestling from Hollywood wasn't on there for a long time. They're much better now, but it is very, like, crazy how much stuff that they have. Especially, I didn't even know it was a German website, but that's even kind of more wild that they're that, like, in tune with everything.
Is there anything missing? Is there anything that you're like, why didn't they address my match with Barry Horowitz?
My match with Barry Horowitz. I'm really sad it's not on it. No, off the top of my head, I can't think of anything, but like, I'm sure I know that they're like I don't know. I think my cage match said I have like under 200 matches or something like that, and it's like, no, I surpassed that in like my first couple years probably. But I mean, it's fine that they don't have the Taco Fest 2015 in there. That's all right.
well, let's jump into it. It's not on my list, but I got to know about Taco Fest.
Taco Fest actually is a freaking blast. I mean, there's a lot of different Taco Fest wrestling events, but I'm specifically referring to the one in Denver that Nick Gossert from Lucha Libre and Laughs will run wrestling at this Taco Festival every year. They might have stopped doing that, but I know the Taco Festival still exists. The Denver Taco Festival. It's like, do you want to get like all kinds? They have all these like trucks pull up, and there's like super authentic stuff. There's like Pan Asian fusion tacos. There's all kinds of that going on, and then there's also like live wrestling, which can be hit or miss with like a non-wrestling crowd, but they have enough people there. Plus, it's like only the people that want to watch the wrestling go to the wrestling. It's not like they shut down everything else. So I find in non-wrestling fan settings, that's always like optimal of just like people who actually want to be there and aren't like I did a show at the Coyote Ugly like my first year in, and people were just like, "But we want to see girls with the boobs on the like the movie, like dance on the bar," and we're like, "How about a body slam?" And they're like, "No." So yeah. Anyways, Taco Fest is great.
Yeah, as a comedian, I can definitely I understand.
You know, yeah. I ordered
Ambush shows, we
mozzarella
call them.
sticks. Yeah,
Yeah.
ambush shows. Yeah.
Well, speaking of, you mentioned Lucha Libre and laughs. This is where I want to start, and
Yes.
you know, this is where our paths once crossed before. Not
They
sure
did.
if you how well you remember this, but this is going back to 2016. Ratio Beer Works.
Yes.
It was part of the Crom Comedy Fest. It was Lucha Libre and laughs. You wrestled Jay Sin, and in your corner was none other than me, Brett Davis, under the guise of Bobby Blaze.
Yes.
BLAYZE. Do you have any memory of this?
I think it was for this match. Didn't I forget the championship? And I had to like cut a promo
I
about
did
like.
notice it was a according to Cage Match, it was a non-title match.
Okay, so man, this is the only time this has ever. I'm glad we're actually starting out with this because the only time this has happened in my career, I got to the show super early. Like I got to the show way before call time, and I'm just chilling. I'm like, yeah, cool. This match will be great, whatever. And then like 30 minutes before the actual match, the show's already started at this point. I look in my bag and I realize that the belt is back home, and I'm like, oh my god, like, what am I doing with my life? Like, I can't believe the one thing you had to do. Like, so thinking on the fly, I want to say we had like a pillowcase that I don't even know what we put in there. We put like electrical equipment in there or something, and like brought it out with me and cut a promo about oh, you fans aren't worthy to see me in title action. You won't even see the belt. I won't even show it to you. So this is a non-title match. And funnily enough, someone came up to me like 2 years later and was like, oh, I remember you were such a good heel. You wouldn't even show us the champ. I was like, no, I didn't have that shit with me. I left it back at home. But hey, it's wrestling. You just call it on the fly, baby.
Yeah, I mean, this is your cage match, but I gotta say, in my comedy career, I've never had quite the experience that I had. That's one of the true highlights. So thank you for being part of it. There was a little girl, and I got the feeling that maybe she was a regular, and she was sitting front row, and she hated me. Like more than any heckler has ever hated me. She just despised me. And I was playing this character who's a babyface but is very unlikable. And you didn't know me, but you totally went along with it. So kudos to that. I was pretending to be an active wrestler, but then I hurt my pinky. And she was just so furious. And I kept running into her throughout the course of the day and kept trying to give her an autograph. She kept like crumbling it up and throwing it away. Do you have any Lucha Libre and Laughs? What was that exactly?
So Lucha Libre and Laughs is the brainchild of Nick Gosser, and it's a combination of wrestling and stand-up comedy, where they'll have a stand-up comedy set and then they'll have a wrestling match and back and forth. And honestly, if you're in the Denver area, it's one of the nicest, like the coolest date night you can go to, because who doesn't love stand-up? Who doesn't love wrestling? And especially a live show where you're right there in person. It's up close. I actually, since then, lost the championship, but have recently gained it back. So I'm still performing for Lucha Libre and Laughs. It's still going strong at the O Theater in Denver, and they pack a mean crowd. It's like always a really good vibe there. And they have some really good wrestling, and they have some really good comedians that come in. And I can't say enough good things. In fact, before I started wrestling, my friend Gabriel just showed up at my house random Sunday at like 10 in the morning, and he knocks on the door. I'm like, what's going on? He goes, what are you doing tonight? And I go, I don't know, probably hanging out. We're going to Lucha Libre and Laughs, bitch. And I was like, what is that? That sounds great. And so I went to Lucha Libre and Laughs. After the show, I talked to the promoter, Nick, asked him where I got to go to train. He told me the butcher shop in Denver, and 2 days later, I was starting my wrestling career. So I have a deep-seated love for Lucha Libre and Laughs. It has a special place in my heart.
I remember there was a character, and I've always wanted to know the whole story about this person, an older gentleman I want to say he had a name like the Kielbasa King or the Polish.
Oh, the Polish Prince.
Yes. Okay. Please introduce the audience to the Polish Prince.
The Polish Prince is just a psychopath. Oh man, I don't know how easy this would be to find. We might have to do this as a clip or something, or if not, just like listeners, you should find this. It's like Colt Cabana cut my promo. I don't know if it says with the Polish Prince on there, but Colt Cabana was doing this series called Cut My Promo, where you just have random like crazy people cut his promos because he didn't want to. It was real fun. And Polish Prince is just like this insane human being that just I'm the Polish Prince. I will crush your bones, and like that's just him. Like he just is that person.
You're going against Royce Isaac and my son, Sammy Six Guns.
No, wait, that's not the match. That's not the match at all.
All right, tell me the match.
Well, I mean, you can make it up if you want to.
Okay, let's make it up. So you're going against Pat Tanaka. Woo!
Really, Pat Tanaka?
In my country, he was nothing. We went.
Oh, you're supposed to be Polish. Oh, the Polish Prince. I get it now.
Well, you an American or you from northern Mexico? Are you wet behind the ears?
Could we use this?
I don't know what he's doing now, but he's super old, has this like Van Gogh goatee thing, so much taco meat chest hair, and I don't know like how he even got involved in wrestling. I think he's just like, actually, I think Pat Tanaka got him into wrestling because, of course, he's just like Polish Prince. You kind of just have to see him to believe him. So Colt Cabana cut my promo. Polish Prince. It's the one in Denver. It's hilarious. Like he's just like he's not a character. He just is a character. You know.
I seen you a couple months ago, and I seen Colt Cabana practicing, and I'll tell you, he is going to take you down.
Can you talk about like the partners and stuff?
They're going to be 4. Who they could be? Who one of his friends?
Who? You can't promote Punk. What are you doing? He's not going to be there.
I'm talking about your friends from Chicago. Too bad you're not from the south side of Chicago.
Is it too bad?
Bad Leroy Brown was from the south side of Chicago.
I think me and Bad Leroy Brown are two completely different people.
But now we start getting on the road, and you wrestled a match in Portland. I'd say your first match against the legend. This is at the Jackson Armory. Do you remember which legend you wrestled in 2016?
Banging and banging.
That's Gangrel, right? Gangrel.
Yeah.
Tell me about Gangrel. He just popped up on AEW TV this week.
I think Gangrel is criminally underrated. First of all, best entrance music of all time. I don't think that's very to me. That's like not like that's open and shut case.
Best entrance. He comes out of fire and spits blood.
Yeah, the coolest. But I think in ring he is so underappreciated, and I hope with the AEW stuff he finally gets some of his flowers because he has been really, really good for a really, really long time. I got to wrestle him actually probably at least 5 times because I was also wrestling him at this place in Vegas called Paragon Pro, and we did like a whole feud there, and then in Portland. I think those are the only 2 spots, but we had quite a few matches, and I mean he's still going at a high level. I know he had some like back issues last year, but it seems like he's on the mend and he's good to go. And I can't really say enough about like how good he is in all aspects, and how I think like underrated and underutilized he is.
You know, one of my favorite Gangrel stories, and granted, it is the brainchild of a billionaires pissing contest, whatever it is. But he was added in 2000. You know, his stock wasn't super high in WWF, but he was last minute added to a show at MSG, and was told to really do the spit routine to the crowd and get them drenched in blood. It's because they placed Donald Trump, who attended that show, right in the front row, and he was like, got like the blood sprayed on him. So that's helped.
It helped his tan, right?
yeah, it just seeped in and became a part of that fake tan. All right, now let's move to some international stuff. 2017, Narimasu Act Hall. You wrestle the great Antonio Honda in what it looks like your DDT debut. Tell me about this.
Yeah, so that was like my DDT main roster debut. I had done the DDT DNA Grand Prix the year before, but that was like a week-long tour of the DNA brand, which it doesn't exist anymore, but it's it was kind of like their young lines. A lot of their like top guys now were in there, and that was my like first DDT main roster. So my second tour, and yeah, Antonio Honda is for the people that aren't familiar with DDT, it's an amazing universe where they have some of the absolute best wrestlers in the world. Like I know Konosuke Takeshita, excuse me. I'm sure I'm going to butcher that again, but he's like really getting his just due now because he's doing an American tour and doing all these top indies and killing it, and people are seeing it. But he is there. He's like their main guy, their top guy. They have people like him. Kenny Omega came from there. Kota Ibushi came from there. They have these amazing top wrestlers, but then they also have the most zany, craziest comedy. Like there's like Danshoku Dino, who does this gimmick where he's like just like humping you in the ring and like pulling your pants down and all this craziness. And then there's like Antonio Honda always will like almost like give up, and then he'll like be like, wait, and he'll tell this story about this like little fox character that like runs along, and he'll give this whole like giant speech, and then at the end of it he'll like poke you or something like that or attack you.
And he'll have the fox puppet too. Which...
Yes. They've had some insane, like they've had everything from Takeshita and Tetsuya Endo did a 60-minute time limit draw in Korakuen Hall. That was one of the best matches I've ever seen live. And then they've also had Danshoku Dino and this guy from Big Japan that like always pulls out a gun in the middle of the match and threatens people. They did
that's what everybody says. Why don't you just pull out a gun? Well, somebody's doing that.
Because it's someone else's act. That's copyright infringement. So they had a match that the first person to get a boner lost. So like they're doing all this crazy like Dino's bringing out all these like women in bikinis to try to like get the other guy to crack, and then the other guy pulls out his gun and like makes one of the young boys strip down naked to get Dino to like try to crack. It was like probably the most absolutely insane. And then you have to think about that these are all in the same universe where you have some of the top wrestlers and they're interacting with these other characters. Like it's just like it really is its own crazy universe, and it's really fun and funny and interesting, I think.
Yeah, I become a kid in the candy store when I ever try to like dive into DDT because it's just there's too much. It's so overwhelming. There's matches that take place anywhere, everywhere. It's just
I wrestled on a moving train.
That's right. They have these matches on public transportation. How is that?
It was fucking crazy, dude. I don't know.
Because in Japan, you're already like an oddity. You're like a big guy or American. So you're getting eyes already, let alone being like half naked and fighting.
Yeah, and we're like all putting each other in like Boston crabs and like grabbing for like the guardrail, and like that's like the rope break, and like people are getting eliminated by like getting thrown off the train, and then it like takes off to the next station.
That's a logistical nightmare.
Truly.
How is just adjusting to Japan? How was that?
To me, I don't think it was too bad. It was a lot of pressure, especially at that point. I was really still young in my career, but I don't know. I always kind of like live for those like sink or swim moments. So especially because I've always loved Japanese culture, and when I got into wrestling, I fell in love with Japanese wrestling. So to me, like that's always been the pinnacle, and that's always been the goal. And so I don't know. I guess it was like nerve-wracking, obviously, being in a foreign land and being there for like a long time. And not being around like friends and family and people I can really communicate with well. But then you learn how to my Japanese is not good at all, but you kind of like learn how to communicate and you make these relationships with people. And I can't say enough good things. Like I had the time of my life for sure. DDT was a great promotion for me, and I always had a great time with them.
One of the most famous arenas in the world, particularly in Tokyo, is Kodokan Hall. Some people work their whole career just to get a chance to wrestle there. It's hallowed ground. You actually had the honor of winning a title at Kodokan Hall. And I have the video footage of this. You defeated Chopsticks to win the Ironman Heavy Metalweight Championship. It's much like, if you're unfamiliar, much like the 24/7 Championship. This can be defended anywhere and everywhere. I think we should just take a look with your match with Chopsticks.
Yes.
This is the champion. Yes. This is the champion. He's champion. Oh. Watch the miracle ass.
Good camera work.
Really wonderful.
Really getting in it. Oh, I forgot how long this took. Yeah. There's a whole technique to it.
Unbelievable.
I won the championship by killing the Chopsticks.
This belt has been held by Hall of Famers. It's been defended all across the world. How did it feel to be in the hallowed grounds? And this is your match.
Honestly, it was like a huge honor. Like I always wanted to win that championship because of its history. Because like such an eclectic group of people, like Scott Hall has held that championship, and a bunch of inanimate objects, obviously Chopsticks. And then
did Chopsticks go over? I don't know who Chopsticks beat, but did Chopsticks go over because you had sort of a match you wanted to do with Chopsticks?
So the deal was, so first of all, if you're listening to the audio or if you're not familiar with me, I happen to have a big ass. And for some reason, I think Dino just was like, oh, we can do something with this. So I think not that long before the Antonio Honda match, I just get like a message on my Line app. It's like a messaging app. And it's like, Dino-san wants you to learn to do this. And it was a video of a guy breaking Chopsticks with his ass. And so they like explained this whole miracle ass gimmick to me, and that I'd be breaking people's arms with my ass, whatever. And so we would do this like demonstration to show how the power of my ass, where every show Dino would come out, he would explain the miracle ass. Everyone would be like, that's silly. He'd be like, no, watch, pull out the chopsticks. I'd break it with my ass. Some wrestler would be like, that's preposterous. And I'd grab him and I'd break his arm. And so it was like a whole thing, but I kept doing the chopsticks thing before every show. And then one of the person that held before the chopsticks was this Joshi named Yu, and she's really, really talented. And she basically had been running around, because the 24/7 belt, like you explained, she'd been running around really trying to avoid all challengers to hold on to the belt, and she hadn't slept in days. And so eventually she runs into the locker room. She's like, all right, I'm safe. She has a little meal. You get the itis after you have a meal. She gets a little tired, passes out. The chopsticks happen just to fall on top of her. She's laid there, passed out. The ref comes in, 1, 2, 3. Chopsticks wins. That's my blood feud, obviously. I kill Chopsticks. I win the championship. And then I had the honor, because of that, I got to, a few matches later was the scramble match for the championship. So I got to actually enter Korakuen Hall as the champion. Unfortunately, I did not win. I did not leave the champion. But I want to say, like, the title changed hands like 6 times in that match or something like that.
Yeah.
So
it actually, Antonio Honda defeated you. Yoshihiko one of our favorites,
Yes.
another inanimate winner. Kazuki Harada, Yuni, Makoto Oishi, Miyu Yamashita, Ichiko Harada, Diego, Dick Togo, and Colt Cabana all won the title that same night. Now, this could have been your Shockmaster moment, because you could have shown up and there could have been like a pair of steel or plastic, even plastic chopsticks.
Yeah.
That could have fucked your whole run. It could have been like if Iron Sheik broke Hulk's leg.
I mean, yeah, somehow I managed to, I probably had to break like at least 20 different chopsticks over my whole time, like on all these like shows at least. And I managed to always break them. There was like a whole specific technique to it that I had to learn of how to position myself and how to position the chopsticks, but luckily I was a perfectionist about it, got it down, and that's why you practice. You practice how you play, and you practice hard.
2018, you wrestled in a different foreign country at the Auditorio de Tijuana. You had a series of matches. One of them was Danny Limelight and Eli Everfly. Danny Limelight, somebody you work with closely now, against Douglas James and yourself on the losing end. But tell me what it's like to work in Tijuana.
Yeah, I think I've had a really lucky experience in that. My international experience has mostly been in Japan and Mexico, where they have a really, really high regard for wrestling, like culturally. So it's always really cool because they treat you really like an athlete, and like I don't know. I think in America it's a little bit like it's like thought of kind of like a trashy sport, versus like over there there's like a deep respect for it. And I had a really good time, both in Japan and in Mexico. I just thought the fans down there are rabid. They want high-paced action. They demand it, and if you rise to the occasion, they'll really give it to you. I've had a few experiences in Mexico, and the fans are always really, really into it, and the food's always really good, and it's always a great time.
Do you take in some of the Tijuana nightlife when you're down there?
No, we went right back across the border. Maybe one of these days, but I don't know. It can be a little sketchy, especially if you don't. I don't know the right areas to hang out in and whatnot. But the arena itself is amazing, and the talent on those kind of cards are always great.
Let's move to the Bay Area. At the Metro Opera House, you took part in a Hood Slam show where you teamed with your partner Jarrell Nelson against Ricky Lake and Sally Jesse Raphael.
Yes, the Stoner Brothers.
Okay, yeah. This is Rick Scott Stoner and Scott Rick Stoner.
Yes.
Why were they named after 90s talk show hosts?
So Hood Slam is a great show. They've been running for years now, and they always pack a crazy crowd.
That's a lot like Lucha Libre and Laughs. I think there's a lot of non-fans that.
Yeah, it's like just like an Oakland event. Like people just go to that to like party and hang out and have a good time. There's a lot of craziness. Like a lot of like out of this world kind of gimmicks, and there's a lot of really crazy action happening, and it's like a really good vibe. And I always love doing Hood Slam. So they have once a year. It's been a minute because they've been a little bit less regular since the pandemic. Although they're running again. But I think February they used to do a show called Femmed Out. And so all the male wrestlers would wrestle in drag, and it was like a show support. It was like a show support for women, and like Hood Slam's one of their big things is being like very about acceptance and including everyone in wrestling. And I thought it was a great time. I thought me and Jarrell looked dead sexy. There's a picture somewhere on my Instagram if you scroll around there, and. yeah, we wrestled Ricky Lake and who was what was the other
Sally Jesse Raphael.
Yeah, it was good, and I don't even know if you can like find the footage because it was like on Twitch, and I don't think they do their Twitch anymore unless they uploaded it to YouTube. But like we had a whole like talk show segment before where they were like interviewing us, and it was like
I looked.
Okay, yeah.
Well, it's lost time. Maybe somebody can show it to us. But let's move on to Illinois. The NWA World Tag Team Championship is on the line at ROH CMLL Global Wars. You're teaming with Thomas Latimer against Brody King and PCO, and you walk out the NWA World Tag Team Champions. Tell me about this.
Yeah, that was a pretty crazy experience. Like Brody and PCO were on this really, really hot run. The ROH titles, the NWA titles, and I think they were like just one of the hottest tag teams around at that point. And especially to go into enemy territory and win the titles like that was a pretty crazy experience, you know. Yeah, like it was. Ring of Honor is like one of those places that, you know, I'm glad that Tony Khan has bought them and they're back, but they were like such stalwarts for years. Like it was such a historic company, and so to be there and to be, you know, in Chicago, which has a rich history with wrestling, and to get to do something like that was, I don't know, it felt like a pretty crazy milestone in my career for sure.
PCO, just from his social media presence, is so supremely weird.
Yeah.
What is he like backstage?
The same. He is insane. Yeah, he's a crazy guy, but he's been really good at wrestling for decades now, and you know, he's earned the right to be a psycho.
Yeah. I remember when somebody was mentioning PCO on Chris Jericho's podcast, and they're like, yeah, it's Pierre Carl Ouellet. He's like, wait, what?
Yeah.
You know, he's doing all these insane moves, just like flat back bumps off the top rope to the floor.
To the apron, to the floor.
Yeah.
He's got a glass eye. Like, he only has one eye and he's doing all this stuff.
Yeah. And then he's always getting electrocuted on his days off.
Yeah.
This obviously transitions into the National Wrestling Alliance. You had a match, NWA World Tag Team title match on the second episode of NWA Power. You team with Thomas Latimer against Eddie Kingston and Homicide at the GPB Studios in Atlanta. How is studio wrestling?
You know, I thought I had a really good experience with it. I had done a little bit of studio wrestling for Championship Wrestling from Hollywood in a similar sense, but those days were really, really crazy because we were doing multiple days in a row of these like really long tapings. But the NWA fan base was like really rabid, and it made things, I think, a lot easier for us because when you can feed off that energy of the crowd, I think it makes things. It makes it translate to camera better, but it also translates the actual energy of the match. So like it would be very easy for studio wrestling to be bad if you don't have a good crowd, or if it's like a quiet crowd, or if there's not a lot of people there. But you know, back when I was there, at least from my experience, it was always a packed crowd, and they were always from the first bell until like 5 hours later. It didn't matter how tired they weren't a tired crowd. They were there for everything.
At Daly's Place in Jacksonville, the Varsity Blondes against yourself and Jarrell Nelson. This is the pandemic era of wrestling.
Yes.
It's not. You had a bunch of these matches on AEW Dark. What was it like wrestling there?
Yeah, no, that was a really, my 2020 was really tough, obviously with the pandemic. And then once I, like things kind of shut down for everyone. And then I asked for my release, got my release from NWA. And then I basically only wrestled like one match the rest of 2020. So coming out of that, I got on Bloodsport at the beginning of the year, and then the next thing was these AEW tapings. So it was like I was starting to finally get some momentum, and it was like, oh wow, this is also a huge stage. And then also it's like there's no crowd, and it's the weird. It's like, okay, this is a huge opportunity, let's go. And then also like it's kind of really surreal and strange, you know. But I had a really good time in Jacksonville. I think now that like fans and crowds are back, it'd be really hard to go back to that because it was so weird. Like it just now, like when you watch those matches back and there's like no real sound and there's, I don't, it's just like kind of a really weird like moment in time of wrestling. But I will say AEW took care of us really well. They paid us really well. Like we got to do some really cool matches. We got to wrestle FTR. I got to have a match actually tagging with Danny Limelight against Moxley and Kingston. So I had a great time.
Next, let's talk about New Japan Strong. This past month, you had Team Filthy. That's yourself, Danny Limelight, Jarrell Nelson, JR Kratos, and Filthy Tom Lawler against David Finlay, Fred Rosser, Tangaloa, the DKC, and Yuya Uemura. Great match. Is this your pay-per-view debut? This is a pay-per-view?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean,
I guess you've done the NWA ones. Yeah.
Yeah, and like there's certain promotions that technically run like internet pay-per-views or whatever, but I would certainly say it was for sure, bar none, the biggest wrestling pay-per-view I had done at that point. You know, doing a pay-per-view, and it's like when you're doing the pay-per-view, yes, it's New Japan Strong, but that's a New Japan pay-per-view. That's not, you know what I mean? Like it's like when you look at the card, that's a New Japan card, and then there's also Strong Talent on it. So it's like high pressure. It's crazy. There were some absolutely amazing matches that night. I'm really glad we got to be a part of that. And apparently, it seemed like it was really well received. I know, I don't read all the comments, but it seemed like people online tended to really like it. And being in the LA Coliseum was pretty wild. Like we were, a couple 100 feet from the locker room. You come out, and if you went to the right, there was the stadium was literally right there, like the stands and everything. And then if you go to the left, that's where the entrance was to the ring. So that was a really cool experience. And I think it was kind of crazy because that Friday, the day before, Jarrell, my tag partner, had dislocated his shoulder in the match. So he's like fighting through that. And it's like, we got this, let's go. He's like nursing that. We're fighting through it. And then, being in that environment, I think if there's any hip hop heads out there, I want to say one of the members of Griselda, I think maybe like Benny the Butcher or something like that was in the crowd, like front row or something like that. So yeah, it was pretty cool.
Yeah, these LA shows, I'm sure Championship Wrestling from Hollywood was the same. You really never know who's going to show up. I remember seeing Glenn Danzig at GCW and stuff.
Yeah.
It's just, yeah. Who's like the craziest person? Oh, sorry.
Oh, I was going to say, there's like a photo from one of the blood sports in LA that's like Josh Barnett, Minoru Suzuki, and Glenn Danzig, and I'm like, that's quite the trio,
Unbelievable.
And I think Ryan Keeley, the adult film, the hotel documentary actress, was also there. It was like, what is this locker room? This is crazy.
Yeah. Who do you have like a memory of like, oh, I'm wrestling in front of this person?
Oh snap.
Or even would that get in your head? Is it like, just like
no? I don't think so. I feel like there's someone recently that I somehow am blanking on, but I've had a show where Becky Lynch was front row. I've had a show where actually regularly at West Coast Pro, Lars from Rancid usually goes to those shows. Yeah, I don't know. I'm trying to think. Like recently, I want to say someone like, "Oh, so and so's in the crowd," but I don't know. I'm drawing a blank right now. But yeah, I mean, that is one thing that I think is pretty different in Denver that like just happens out here in LA a lot, which is pretty cool. Although now that I say that, when I was like the most green still, like I barely was getting on shows in Denver. This is like 2015 probably, 2014 or 2015, and I was on a show in Golden, Colorado, and I looked out into the crowd, and this is at least a couple years before she got into wrestling. Shayna Baszler was in the crowd. And I want to say maybe like Marina or something. She was with one of the other like Four Horsewomen or whatever. I was like, oh, that's Shayna, who we actually then had our WWE tryout in 2016 together.
Wow. Yeah. How is that? Is that just like thrilling, or is it nerve-wracking, or is it kind of a combination of everything?
Both. Yeah, absolutely. It was pretty crazy, and I think that I was definitely too green and not ready for that kind of a responsibility yet. So like things happen for a reason. I want to say like I had that, and then I had a week, and then I had my first DDT tour right after that. And I think if they had been flipped, maybe I would have handled the pressure a little bit better, because I would have been okay. I just came out of a super high pressure situation and also wrestling these amazing wrestlers in Japan. Now I can hit, but at the same time, if I had gotten signed to WWE back then, I don't know if it would have like worked out better for my career. I might have gotten signed, done nothing, gotten dropped, and then just been like, I guess I'm done with this. Versus kind of this like slow, steady climb. I've gotten to have this really, I think, eclectic and interesting career, and it's made me really appreciate where I am now, versus just like having like a faster meteoric rise or whatever.
Yeah. And the next month is going to be very interesting in the world of wrestling. Forbidden Doors coming up. You're part of New Japan Strong. Yeah, it's a great time to be a wrestling fan. If something crazy happened, we recorded this before Double or Nothing, but there's just interesting stories flying around.
Yes.
But now let's transition into some of these clips, because you sent some of my favorite clips. This is our segment we call Big Show and Tell. All right, so you sent this great Scott Steiner promo.
Yes.
Do you want to set this up? Do you want to give the storyline context?
So, okay, I guess this is how I'll set this up. Is I might be the world's biggest Scott Steiner fan, and that's like the totality of his career. Like, to me, the Steiner brothers are the best tag team of all time, and I don't know what other argument. Like, if you have a different one, that's fine. You're allowed to, think otherwise. But I don't think there's any tag team that even comes close. The athleticism that he displayed early in his career was absolutely insane. He was doing this crazy, innovative stuff no one else was doing. And then you have like his later career where he is an absolute psychopath doing all this crazy stuff on the microphone. And he's just like, he's like demolishing a Shoney's, like it's the overall entertainment of his entire career is just like absolutely wild to me. And I got to tag team with him at NWA, so that's pretty cool.
Oh, how was that?
It was absolutely insane, but it was absolutely wonderful and a dream come true. And you can see I'm just like cheesing on the sidelines there, like, oh my God, this is happening. So
he's
the
fun
man
to watch even now. Yeah. All right, so let's take a look
at pure entertainment.
Absolutely. And this is that period of Scott Steiner's career when he was like, you know what? Let me lean into this. So
he's just going crazy, saying crazy stuff. It's awesome.
And I'm gonna quiz you to see if you could tell me what he said.
And I know for a fact you're not going to lay down for this guy.
That's right, Mean Gene. I don't lay down for nobody. And whether I leave here world champion tonight, it don't matter, because it's not going to change my focus on getting even with Goldberg for fracturing my face. And Goldberg, I'm going to get even with you for fracturing my face, and I'm going to prove to you that I'm the man with the largest arms in the world. I'm the genetic freak, and size does matter. But that statement, Mean Gene, comes true whether I'm in the ring or out of the ring. See, when I have my freaks horizontal, they understand size. They appreciate size.
Wait, what did he say?
When I have my freaks horizontal, they understand size. They appreciate size.
Okay.
And size does matter, and they know that they don't have to wait for the Earth to rotate on a 47-degree axis so the stars can touch the sky and create an equinox so they can see the Big Dipper.
All right, what was that?
You don't have to wait for the Earth to rotate at a 47-degree axis and the stars to align and form an equinox to see the Big Dipper.
He's a poet.
No. All they gotta do is call the Big Papa, because I'm the man with the Big Dipper, and satisfaction's coming when I go behind and do the bump and grind. And it's only a matter of time because they call me the Big Bad Booty Daddy. So Goldberg, realize this, I only care about two things in this world, my freaks and my peaks. And when I beat your bald ass down at Fall Brawl, and I'm about to put you in a Steiner recliner, I'm gonna whisper in your ear, size does matter, bitch.
Jesus fucking Christ.
It's the greatest promo. They aired that on television. It's absolutely insane.
At what point in your career, if ever, do you think you'd get to the point where you're just like, I'm going to start cutting promos about my Big Dipper and fucking doing the horizontal freak or whatever?
Next Lucha Libre and Laughs, June 24th. I actually, funnily enough, so when I first started out, for a while I did bleach blonde hair, and part of the reason I did that was one of the shows that I was on, this smaller regional show, they would do a Halloween show where it would be like, obviously we're still ourselves, but you would like cosplay, you dress up as someone else. And I wrestled as Scott Steiner, and I was like, oh, I kind of like the blonde. But after the match, so I basically did like a Steiner match with this guy who was wrestling as like MVP. And after the match, I got on the microphone and I cut that promo like word for word, and the crowd ate it up. I was like, this is why you cut promos about the Big Dipper. They like this.
Unbelievable. That's incredible. Yeah, he doesn't get the credit because they are unhinged and they are crazy, and a lot of times he's not making total sense. But he makes sense more of the time than people give him credit for.
There's something there that he like makes more sense, and also like I don't know. I think that he doesn't get enough credit for like. There's a lot of people that can do the more straight guy stuff. There's a lot of people that can do some like more comedy stuff. There's a lot of people that can be like tough guys. There's not a lot of people that have had careers where they've been to the extremes of all of those things. They've been to the top of tag team wrestling. They've been to the top of singles wrestling. And I think for whatever reason, he's just not in like the cool kids club, quote unquote, of like some of these other guys that do get their reverence and whatever. And I think Steiner like legitimately really should be held in a much higher regard than he is.
This is one of my favorite clips. This is him on the short-lived TNA offshoot Ring Ka King. Oh no, let me find this. Yeah, doing the full Bruiser Brody, terrifying human beings.
Oh my God! क्या हो रहा है? मुझे विश्वास ही नहीं हो रहा। स्कॉट स्टाइनर जानवर बन गए हैं। पब्लिक ने लगता है कि इतना गुस्सा दिला दिया है कि अब इनके साथ जो भी आए उसकी खैर नहीं।
टाटा प्राइमा प्रेजेंट्स रिंग का किंग 28 जनवरी से हर
Unbelievable. He's a master of the craft.
For real.
Another master of the craft. This is a clip you sent me. Is the Dirt Bike Kid. Dirt Bike Kid.
I think you said he's the master. Yes, he is the master of the craft. Legend, Dirt Bike Kid.
Yeah, you might know him from wearing full dirt bike gear in the ring. He has had a legendary feud with Sabu, and he also had this match with the great Sasuke. So let's talk about this match because it is one of the more legendary shoots in wrestling.
Yeah, so I could be wrong. From what I understand, is basically this is Dirt Bike Kid's big opportunity. They sent him to Japan, and he's going to do this match with Great Sasuke. And I don't know if he thought he was gonna win or like what is like I'm not sure exactly what he thought was going on or what was gonna happen, but he was apparently really upset about the match and proceeds to kind of just go into business for like you'll see he just does all this shit at the start. There's our hero. Look at him. Woo! Fucking
not just full dirt. If you're not watching this, if you're listening on the podcast, he's not just in full like dirt bike gear. He's got like the accoutrements too. He's got goggles and like plastic. I don't
he's
know
got the serious like I'm gonna do like a giant jump like dirt bike stuff. Like I like need to protect all my like. It's like a full chest protector. Like like the knee gimmicks. Like it's crazy, and he's got a mask thing. Yeah.
When you're in a ring with somebody who's dressed like a ninja and you look like the silly one.
Real talk. And then he refuses to go down for Sasuke's finish. So Sasuke makes a new finish on the fly. It's quite nice.
Yeah. This is Jason Harrison, also known as the Heart Attack Kid or the Shark Attack Kid.
Shark Attack Kid. You know more about him than me. That's crazy. Yeah, I wasn't super aware of his career. I think this was kind of like the end of it, though. I assume like he was kind of done after this.
Yeah, this is a match in Michinoku Pro. That's I'm not the technique expert like you are, but
I mean he's obviously like a talented guy. I think it's more of like a I don't know attitude kind of issue and. He's just trying to do his thing here. Now, Sasuke, that's the spinning kick, and he's supposed to be dead.
Yeah. I'm trying to get to So this is the kick.
Oh, yep. And he won't go down for it. He's like, nah, I'm not doing that.
Now, is he just green, or is he like really?
No, he doesn't. He doesn't want to. Yeah. So if that's the case, if you don't want to, I guess you get kicked in the face for real, and that doesn't feel too great, does it?
Yeah, and Sasuke's not like an unsafe worker, He's not a big guy. He's not a bully.
He's tough, and if you're gonna just not go along with things, then you can get choked out for real. And he's really he's like, oh no, oh sorry, held on to that choke for quite some time.
Keith Elliott Greenberg told us that back in the day, that sort of that choke, that is
guillotine.
That is what they tell the guys that whenever somebody would question legitimacy of wrestling, you throw them in that and they pass out. That's how Richard Belzer got.
I was gonna say
Hulk
Hogan. Yeah. And it's like you like the funny like I don't know. Obviously, Hulk has, he's done some fucked up shit, but outside of that, just the Belzer incident alone, just talking about that, I think he got a lot of flack and was demonized for that. But it's like you're gonna talk all this shit about wrestling's fake, this, that. It's like, well, how do you expect someone to react if someone came to your job and shit all over it or you're on national TV and someone's shitting all over your job? And you're just supposed to sit there and like, oh yeah, no, okay, great, it's fake. It's like, well, you get put in a hold and then you get choked out, and then you're gonna be the victim. Like, I don't know. It doesn't sit right with me.
Yeah, messing with people's lives, and he won a lawsuit and got his own house that he called Shea Hogan or something.
Yeah, and he went on to be a character on Law and Order, SVU, or whatever, and good for him, but. Scummy to me.
There obviously we lost great Sasuke. We're watching his funeral. There is a really great Sasuke documentary on YouTube that just shows him. He got into a career in politics, and there's just him like vacuuming with his mask on at home. Him like going door to door in his small town that's like 3 hours north of Tokyo or something. But here we're looking at his funeral. We've got Brandon Niwa also wearing his mask.
Yes.
Have you seen this?
I don't think I have. Or if it's been a while, if so.
Yeah. And we've got various dignitaries of different promotions coming to pay their respects. We got Gedo and Jado here. This is one of my favorite weird in Japan clips. I never quite knew the context. I don't think I needed to. We were lighting our cigarettes with the candles here. This is an all-star showing.
Honestly, yeah.
Sasuke's funeral. Who would you, if you had the choice? We've got coming up here, Gran Hamada, Ayako Hamada. Who would you like to be at your wrestling funeral?
That's a good question.
Scotty is going to deliver a eulogy, of course.
Yeah, I definitely want him to deliver a eulogy where he somehow, he's talking about his Big Dipper and fucking his freaks, and then brings it back to, but like, we're all really sorry about Royce, and we're here to pay our respects. I think Dak Draper would definitely be there. I think obviously Jarrell Nelson, my tag team partner, would have to be there. It'd be cool if we could get Gangrel to maybe he could do his entrance and spit blood on my coffin or something.
Is this going to be are you Catholic? Are you Jewish? Are you agnostic? Because we might have a crucifix situation that we want to avoid.
I'm Jewish, but my mom's Jewish. My dad's Catholic. I'm Jewish, but so we could do like a half and half. But yeah, I don't know how Gangrel's going to feel about that. So maybe we'll just go with it. Yeah, we'll just go with the Jewish funeral then.
Okay, yeah,
yeah. That's a good question. You should ask every wrestler. Oh, you should ask every wrestler who their 6 pallbearers would be. That would be a good wrestler, like who your wrestling pallbearers would be.
Ricky Fuji has some words to say.
Yeah.
Rest in peace.
Cannon by Ricky Fuji. He's gonna throw that cross up.
Oh man, that is wonderful.
Yeah, and would you have the Mr. Pallbearer? Would he be running the services in your ideal world?
Oh man, that would actually be pretty amazing. I mean, because he actually could do that. Like that was his actual job for a while. So.
Mm-hmm. I think there's a choice though if you want Percy Pringle to run the service or if you want Paul Bearer to run the service. Because Paul Bearer is just going to be staring at the corpse, weirding out your family.
Me personally, I would go with Paul Bearer, but that's because it would be more entertaining.
Yeah,
and you only get one funeral, so you might as well make it fun.
Well, Great Sasuke made this funeral fun. Let's tune in. Everyone's crying. Everyone's so sad. I don't know what Grenany was doing exactly there. He's paying his respect. Again, we have dignitaries from all the Japanese promotions, labeled as such. And I'm sorry to end the show on this sad clip.
Oh, snap! He's up.
Can you translate that?
No, I can't.
Oh, and now we have the legend Antonio Inoki making his presence known.
Oh my god.
He's obviously, not the imposing figure he used to be.
でも引退したからって舐めてんじゃねえぞ。サスケ、出てこい。
And obviously showing the respect.
元気があれば何でもできる。いい？大丈夫。
Would you get in the Inoki slap line?
Yeah, why not?
Yeah, same.
ありがとう。いくぞ。1、2、3、よいしょ。だー。
No idea what's going on.
What a segment. That's, you know what? I like that was like the, I feel like that was the Japanese answer to like every like wrestling wedding segment. That's like always kind of like ridiculous and then like it gets ruined and whatever. Like, I kind of like that better because like a wedding, you're like, oh no, it's ruined. Now it's kind of like sad, but like a funeral getting ruined by Great Sasuke actually being alive is like, oh, it's ruined. Oh, but that means like he's still alive, so that's cool, you know?
Yeah, I mean that was not the actual Antonio Inoki. That was a smaller.
Clearly did not have the. Chin
it was
for
a small Antonio Inoki, but not the small Antonio Inoki that we've talked about on the show, Antonio Koinoki. That was just another guy. There's multiple small Antonio Inokis running around Japan, but Inoki already had his funeral, so maybe this is something that you can consider.
Yeah.
Just as you climb the ranks, earn that respect. Maybe adopt the slap line, adopt the pre-death funeral. You know, you've got the career for it. So I'd like to thank you for being on Wrestling Club.
No, thank you for welcoming me to the club. As I said, this is like the only club I belong to, so it's really
Don't
quite
tell
the honor.
Tom Lawler that. What would he wear to your funeral? He'd what is his?
He'd have Daisy Dukes
tie?
for sure.
Yeah.
It'd be some like Daisy Dukes with some kind of like string tassels attached or something like that. Yeah. Oh man, Tom, I would also like if we could somehow transition from like Scott gives like a first speech and then Tom gives a second speech. That would actually probably be pretty ideal because Tom is definitely a master of the microphone and yeah, Team Filthy leader. Salute.
All right. Well, do you have any shows you want to plug? Any matches that you're excited about?
No, I just New Japan Strong, New Japan Strong, New Japan Strong. If you're not catching New Japan Strong, then I think you're really missing out because I think it's probably the most underrated product going in wrestling right now. This locker room works its ass off. There are some really insanely talented, hardworking guys, and I think the product speaks for itself. If you give it a try, I think you'll be hooked. So, it's on Fight. It's on New Japan World. Check it out. New Japan Strong is what I'm all about, and I'm going to keep representing for New Japan Strong. And now I sound like a broken record, but like I really passionately feel that way. So, thank you for having me on, and it's really nice to kind of like I don't stop and smell the roses enough. I feel like in my career, but it's nice to look back and to kind of be reminded of some of this really cool stuff that's happened along the way.
Well, thank you so much for doing this. Your career is so impressive, and you're just starting still. So I'm really excited to see what's coming your way.
Hey, thanks so much, Brett. Appreciate you, brother.
The Wrestling Club with Darren and Brett. We've got a show that you'll never forget.